If you want to make what professionals make, then you do not want to miss this one. In today's episode, we are discussing the 3 things that beginners make that absolutely crush their pressure washing dreams. So we just got back to the shop. I'm going to make this one relatively quick. I did want to, this is just something that has been on my mind lately, and something that I kind of been getting from some of the comments that people were making. So, you know, and it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or not. If you're making any one of these mistakes, guys, I mean, even one of these is like stepping on a bear trap. Bam, it's gonna cut the bottom half of your leg off. Or at the very minimum, it's like stepping on a landmine. It's gonna blow off something. So number one, probably the biggest mistake that I see beginners make is poor pricing. They just don't know how to price things out, and they're desperate for getting work, and they just want to get out there, and they're willing to give any price to get that work. That's the biggest mistake that you can make, because, you know, as you grow and you develop yourself in multiple ways, as your skill grows, you know, you want to make sure that you're getting your true value, your worth, because there's just no way, guys. This business has way too many parts, too many things happening in the back end for you not to be able to get paid well. You know, here in my area, for example, there's a guy, and it's got to be his first season, because I've never seen this before. This is my 11th season now, but we've been through 10 seasons. He's putting out about 100 plus. I would say about 100, over 100. I would say about 500 of those bandit signs a month all over town. And it doesn't have his company name on there. Doesn't have a website of any kind. It just has a phone number, pressure washing, and it says he'll do any house, no matter the size, for 150 bucks. Well, that's not my business model. That's not how I built a $1 million company. And you're not going to be able to get very far either if that's what you're doing. My recommendation to you as a new guy is very simple. Do not, and I repeat, do not have any price for house wash less than 250 bucks. Now, here at Mr. Bubbles, we do about 80% of our pricing remotely, and about 20% we actually go to. And so it's actually quite a bit, because we do 600 houses a month. So we go to quite a bit of those homes. But when you're fairly new, most of the pricing that you're going to do, I want to say, is remotely. So the way you want to do it is, you want to do it by the square footage. You want to be in that 10 cent to 15 cent range. Okay, so for example, a 3,500 square foot house, you want to be around $350 to $400, around, or to $450, right around that range. You want to be in that range. You don't want to be any lower than that. So you guys out there doing house washes for 200 bucks, I don't know what it is that you're doing. Now, I will say this about pricing. This is like, you guys ever heard of the 30-30-30 rule of pricing? I'm not sure if you have or haven't, but it's something that came about. I heard about it in the 90s, in early 2000s, but I'm sure it was probably part of some finance book at some point, and people learned it and passed it down the pipeline. So basically what it is you have 30% should be your cost, 30% should be your labor, and 30% should be your profit. So this is like an old school way of giving out prices. So I'll give you an example what that 30-30-30 looks like. So let's say you figure out for your business that your cost of doing a house wash, and what do I mean by cost? The cost of your insurance for your truck, insurance for your business, your cell phone, your marketing, your soaps, etc., etc., etc. Let's say you add all of that up and you figure out that it costs you $75 to do a house wash, meaning if just to show up to the person's house to do their house, that's 75 bucks. Then let's say you're a one-man operation, you got to pay yourself. Even if you had to hire somebody, you're still going to pay $75 to hire that person. So you have cost at 75, you have labor is going to be 75. Then what you do is the other 30 of that 30/30/30 is your profit. So what old school pricing would do is just charge $225. You see how I got that? 75 for cost, 75 for labor, and then an additional 75 for profit. And what I'm challenging you guys on is this: change that equation. And what you're going to do is change the word profit for growth. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I need $75 for my cost. I need $75 for my labor to pay my guy that's going to go out there and do the job. I need $75 because I'm going to grow the business at some point. I need new truck. I need a new equipment. I need to upgrade my to a soft wash system. Whatever it is, you're going to grow eventually. So you're going to need money for that. And then an additional 75 for profit. Because think about it from the logical perspective here, guys. If you're spending all of your profit on buying new hose reels because you upgraded to the electrical ones, or you're buying a new truck because yours is not an 8-foot bed and you need an 8-foot bed truck. These are just examples, but if you're using your profit to do that, then it's not profit if you're wasting all your money on that stuff, right? You're not really making any money. So in this new example, instead of charging $225, you're going to charge $299, because now you have $75 for cost, $75 for labor, $75 for growth, and then you have $75 for profit. And that's how we do it here at Mr. Bubbles. And a little bit inside baseball here at Mr. Bubbles, our cost of doing a house wash is around $110. So the way we do it is we need $110 for cost. We need right around $70-80 for labor. That brings me up to about $170, $180 right there. Right? So then I need another 100 for growth. That's $280. And then we just top it off and we say some number between $375 to $450. That's where we want to be. So we're making a profit. That's how that works here at Mr. Bubbles. So, and I challenge you guys on that, and I want you guys to up your pricing game, because or else you're just not going to grow your business. You're not going to make any money, and you just basically you switched out your old labor job, wherever it is that you did before this, and you switched it to another form of income where you're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, with a lot more stress, because running a business can be, it's not always, but it can be very stressful. Number 2 in this list is something we've talked about a great detail. Again, guys, any one of these 3 things is you're stepping on a landmine and you're blowing off some toes. I'm telling you. Customer service, guys. I'm doing this episode, it's like within 10 episodes away, and it's going to be my office manager who's going to actually do the episode, where she's going to talk to you guys about all these experiences that she's had through the years. Guys, wow, it's the number one thing I hear out in the field. The reason we went with your company is because of great customer service, because of the way you guys answer the phone. We answer the phone. I'll give you an example. This happened in Virginia. My office manager called like 20 to 30 companies to get estimates, and we did that in Maryland as well, but this is something completely different in Virginia. Guess what? She only got a hold of like 3 people out of 20, but that's not what was surprising. All 3 companies sent her an estimate via email. And we thought that was really strange, because sometimes emails go to people's spam and they don't see it. If you're communicating with your customers only through email, you're already goofing up. You're already goofing up. You're already making a huge mistake. You want to make sure that you have that interaction with customers. Have their cell phone. Let them know when you're one thing I'm going to challenge you on, and I want you guys to install this in your company. When you're on your way to a customer's house, text them, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, this is Joe Blow. I'm on my way. I'll be there in 20 minutes." Communicate with your customers. When their customers are super happy, give them the link for the 5-star review and let them know, explain to them how that's helpful to you and your company. All of these things are great customer service. You see what I'm saying, guys? And then another part of customer service is developing your skill out in the field. I mean, You can do all of those things right, but then you kill a bunch of plants. That's terrible customer service. You see what I'm saying? So it all flows together. So you guys want to make sure that, you know, you stay on top of those two things. I mean, guys, you're blowing off kneecaps if you're stepping on these two landmines. And then your third one, I've seen a lot of new guys, including this one that I was telling you about, the $150 bandit signs. A lot of guys want to make a lot of money fast. Think about that. They want to make a lot of money fast. There's no such thing, okay? There's no such thing, because if you even attempt to do it, you're going to make so many mistakes. So this final one, I just call it shortcuts. I see a lot of new guys just trying to take a shortcut, right? They don't have 3-4 years to learn in order to start making money. They think, oh no, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get out there in a couple months, I'm going to be making $50K a month. No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Talk to anybody in the industry that's been in the game for more than 10 years. Guys, the wash game is ruthless. It can be ruthless. My first 2 years, I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but my first 2 years, I actually didn't make any money. And both, I'm in Maryland, so you know we don't wash in the winter, so we have 12 weeks where we're down. In my first 2 seasons, I needed to take out a loan. Luckily, I had good credit. I took out a loan. My first season was $16K. My second season was $18K. I took out loans to be able to pay my bills in the winter. My third season, I broke even. I was able to pay off those loans, and I was able to save money for the winter. When I started in the spring of my fourth season, I think I had like $500 in my bank account. So there you have it. My first 36, 37 months in the business, I didn't make any money. So you're here telling me that, you know, you're just starting out and in a couple weeks you're going to be making 40, 50. It's not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's not going to happen because there's so many things that you need to learn. That's why I recommend you guys go back to my very first video, my very first episode where we do the walk around of the trailer. I'll put up the thumbnail here for you guys. Guys, watch every single episode. In every single episode, I drop a gold nugget of information there for you that's going to help you to be able to not take a shortcut, but curve that learning curve even a little bit more for you, because in order for you to develop the skill, the experience that you need to be able to make a lot of money, it takes years. It takes years for that. Like, it's so funny because I considered myself a true master, and I went in stages. Like, I'll explain what I mean by that. It wasn't until I had done at least 2,500 homes in terms of downstreaming before I considered myself a downstreaming master. So do the math in your head. How many have you done? Maybe you haven't done any yet. And that's why we're having this conversation, right? So if you're doing, let's say, 4 houses a day, okay, so in a month, 100. So you're going to do 1,000 in a year. And that's on the high end. If you're doing 1,000 in a year, it's going to take you 2.5 years. If you're doing 800 in a year, it's going to take you 3 years. And that's what it took me. So for you to become a true master at anything, you're just going to have to go out there and put in the work. Because these days, I can pull up to a house and do a $600-700 job in an hour. But guess what? Your skill level and skill set, you're not going to be able to do that because you're not knowledgeable enough yet. And that's what the purpose of this channel, guys. I have mentioned this before, and I'll state this again. My goal for this channel is to help you make $5,000 a week. And when I say $5,000 a week, I don't mean like $5,000 a week and you have to buy chems and you have to buy a new hose and a new no. I mean you've paid your employees, you've bought all your supplies, and you still got $5K in your bank account. And after a month, you got $20K in your bank account. That's what my goal for this channel is. So all of the advice, all of the things that I'm telling you guys, these are things that I have practiced and I have mastered through a process of elimination, of doing it the wrong way first, for me to be able to get to this point where I know what not to do. That's what I'm a true master of, actually, is knowing what not to do. And I don't want you guys to go down that road, because, you know, learning that way costs time, effort, energy, and money. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's mistakes that could end your company. If you make one wrong mistake, for example, let's say you go to a house and you kill $1,000 worth of plants because you don't know what you're doing. Do you have money for that? Maybe, maybe not. But what about that customer that is pissed off and is going to go on Facebook and trash your company all over Facebook, going to go on Google and Yelp and trash your company all over the inner zones? What's going to happen then? Guess what? Your company, almost every single person I talk to, they tell me, oh yeah, I read your reviews and they're amazing. That's why we went with you guys. So I'll put up here for you guys right here, our episode 10. This is probably the best resource for you right now. If you're in this business and you have less than 3 years out in the field, your 8 essential chemicals, all the chemicals pretty much in the pressure washing business. This is going to be something that is going to give you that chemical knowledge for you to be able to deal with rust and for example, oil stains, and you're going to be able to batch mix and mix your own bleach and all of that stuff. So the bottom line, guys, is if your pricing is bad, you need to jump on that ASAP. Remember, have a minimum. These days, our bare bones minimum is $289. So if you call me up and your house is 1,200 square feet, $289. That's just our bare bone minimum. Develop a minimum for your company, and that minimum cannot be any number below $250. I'm telling you right now, you will not make any money. And you need to up your pricing by maybe 50 to 100%, depending on who you are. And that's going to help you attract a different type of customer. Number 2, you gotta solve the problem of answering the phone. Guys, you guys are not answering your phone. You're letting it go to voicemail. You're not calling people back. You're emailing people. You might as well just go do something else with your time, because you're going to run your business into the ground. And number 3, guys, there are no shortcuts to this business. Nothing in life that is worth anything is easy to obtain. Everything that is valuable is very, very, very hard to attain. So, you want to make sure you get out there, you put in the work. When you make it to the other side, oh my God, guys, it's kind of like winning the lottery. I'll be honest with you. When you get to a certain level, the access of resources and money that you're going to be able to access is going to be amazing, because one of my favorite sayings I've ever heard in my life is, if you want to make what nobody makes, you're going to have to do what nobody does. Right? So you're going to develop a skill that very few people, I'm talking 1 out of millions of people in the nation, will have your skill set. So you're going to be able to make what very few people make. That's how that works. So you have to be exceptional in all of these things: pricing, customer service, and make sure that your skill out in the field is top notch. And there you have it, guys. As always, thank you very much for coming to my channel and watching this this episode. I highly recommend you watch the next one as well. In the next episode, we're going to be, I actually did a house wash, but we're going to be talking about obstacles and the types of things you can face in this business. And the most important thing is how to overcome them. But we're going to be talking about that. And also, I wanted to mention this before I go. If you go into the description down below, you will find my email. Guys, email me any questions, comments, concerns that you have. I answer every single email. I love interacting with you guys. So go ahead, find my email and email me. Again, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bubbles out.